Hello. Welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank. I'm wearing a hat because I want to. No one made me do this. I'm wearing a hat because I want to. So I don't want any I don't need your sympathy. I don't need your concerns. I'm wearing a hat because I want to, okay? Hashtag I'm wearing a hat. I was having a conversation earlier with I was on Facebook. We were talking about ex-girlfriends. Now, before I even start, as always, I don't know if you know this, I use the same names in all these stories. The names are made up, okay? I'm gonna use common names. Like I always say Sarah, I say Jenny, I'll go Mike, Chris, Melissa, Melanie. Like those are common names. John, whatever. But I was really and we're talking about ex-girlfriend stuff, and also because of what's going on in the world, talking about other political stuff. And so I was trying to think of when you got these people throwing around phrases, and I'm trying to think of the racism and the white privilege and all that stuff. And I can't think of anything where I've experienced stuff, but I was thinking back. I had a girlfriend who happened to be white, and but the thing is how can I explain it and make it funny? Okay, we went to the same high school, and so in high school, she had a reputation of being this cokehead, of course, and so her mom apparently was addicted to speed. Okay, her mom worked for City Hall, which of course people in these high position powers, the hypocrites. So her mom was a speed freak. Her dad was a cop. Makes no sense, but I bet you he got drugs from the evidence room and gave it to her. Okay, that's all I gotta say. So her dad's a cop. Her mom's works for City Hall, and she's a drug addict. Go figure, right? Okay. She's a cokehead. Her brother's a cokehead. The whole family's on drugs, and the dad's a cop. Makes no sense. Well, actually, it does make sense. Okay. So after high school, I never hung out with her or talked to her, but a few years after high school, one of my friends, I'm hanging out with him, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to hang out with Melissa?" And I'm like, and he's like, you don't have a problem or anything. I'm like, I don't, I know who she is because we went to the same high school. I don't know her, And he's like, well, yeah, she does lots of drugs, okay? Like we're gonna probably do lots of drugs. I'm just like, so I didn't do drugs. So I'm like, if we hang out with her, we're gonna all end up doing drugs. She does that much drugs. That's what I say. That's what I say. She does that much drugs that we got to do drugs, which is amazing. So we hang out, and it was three of my friends. The guy, let's call him Danny, and Melissa were all hanging out, and Danny liked her actually. And he just wanted us all hang out, but basically this chick. I can't describe the amount of cocaine, but if you could take both your hands and there's a bucket of cocaine in front of you and scoop it and make a ball, she had that much cocaine. The cop's daughter, the City Hall daughter. I'm just wow. It's those people have because it makes sense. They have access to all the drugs, so So since she has so much and she's doing it she snorted lines like it was pixie stick. So I'm like, oh, cocaine can't be that bad, and it just seems so normalized. Yeah, see, there you go. This is what I'm trying to show that it was normalized. But anyway, see, because I'm used to watching a after school special where someone gets caught doing coke. You're like, oh, don't tell anyone, or oh, it's a big deal, intervention. No, I heard oh, here's a big wad of coke. Anyway, so I see these people having a blast. Everyone seems fine, but it's different when you get coke from your mom or whatever, and your dad's a cop. So anyway. It was just wow, it's a different world. And so I'm thinking now, is that white privilege? But it's not. It's just money again, because both cops make lots of money. You work for City Hall, you make lots of money. Anyway, so basically we hang out, and that coke thing. Now the thing is, she was like, concerned that I was a new person hanging out, and like my friend like Danny's like, oh, he's cool, because I was in a band. Okay, so because like when you're in a band, people just assume you do drugs anyway. So like the only thing I knew about coke is like what I've seen from TV. So like she gave me some like on a CD tray, and like I'm in a car, and so I snorted because it's easy, because it's like just watching a movie. And so like from that moment on, I want to say the next like 4 years of knowing her, I have never seen someone who has that much access to drugs, did that much drugs. I don't know how she's still alive, okay? That's what I really don't know how she lived, but every time I hung out with her, she had like either meth or coke or was drunk. Every time. We probably hung out 4 times a week. Every time she was lit, okay? I'm talking like Mick Jagger. I've never seen a person always high until I met her. Literally. Her mom was always high too. Every time I saw her mom, she was high too. I was like, but the difference, but the mom's like 50. So I'm like, Jesus Christ. How does it happen? But anyway. The dad was on some medication, some mental medication, probably because he was tired of being around 2 bitches high on coke. That's another thing. Like, he was high too, so it's like everyone was just walking high, and it was like the whole family needed an intervention. Jesus, it was a mess. But anyway, so I ended up dating her, but apparently I wasn't really dating her. She was only dating me because I had a job, and if she needed a fix, I'd give her money so she could get some shit. I didn't realize that back then, because like money meant nothing, because actually I drank a lot back then, so I guess I wasn't thinking clearly. But it's like, and then like when you're young, like in your early 20s, like you still, like, even though I had a job, like if you really need money, you just be like ask your parents for something, at least like $20 or $20 there. But I didn't do that a lot, but I could if I wanted to. So like money was like whatever, and I didn't really have any hobbies back then. So like even though I had a job, the only thing I would just spend my money on from the job was like lunch, So I had, or buy a few video games, but that's still plenty of money, and I never bought new clothes. So it's like, oh, Frank, can we get? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go. And like half the time, I wouldn't even do anything. It was just because, oh, it's my girlfriend. But it's not really my girlfriend, it's just some girl using me for money. Anyway, after her dad, I missed one important part, because her dad's a cop. He would take us to the station so all the other cops could see us in the car his daughter drove, just so they wouldn't mess with us or pull her over. So like she could literally drive while drinking a 40 and pass a cop, not get stopped. I was in the car with her when it happened. It's happened I think it was 4 times. No, one time we were parked, but 3 times driving. I'm talking driving down. What's that street called? Driving down Overland, drinking a 40 as she's driving, passing cop cars. Happened 3 times. Okay, and the cop did see us all 3 times. Nothing. Did not. I mean, now that was some movie star shit. I'm like, oh, so that's how the other side lives. And then like 2 of the times when she's drinking like that, she's on coke too. But I'm just saying, like the shit you get away with when you know the right people, like that's the privilege. It's like, who do you know? Like, I don't think it's your race. I think it's who you know, because it's like who you know and how much money you have means you can get away with some stuff. Okay. So anyway, the details of like partying are pointless, but. Years later, like 3 or 4 years later, her brother, who's still a cokehead, saw me at my job because I used to work at a store, and like he looked at me and said something like, what did he say? Like, you're like a bad influence on my sister, and I'm like, well, you're the one that's been doing coke in front of her since she was like a preteen. And your mom's been doing speed for how long? And I'm the bad influence? She learns shit from you guys. And I learned shit from her. And so you just see how people just want to like not blame themselves and not look within. I think having an older brother that's a cokehead would probably normalize it and make me think that drugs are okay. Or having a mom that's a speed freak would normalize drugs and make me think it's okay. Having a friend that you met and got him into it does not influence you. She influenced me. She messed up my life. Granny wasn't messed up, but I'm just saying, like, she affected me. And I like how the cokehead is blaming me for messing up his younger sister's life when it was him that did it. Because she looked up to him and she said, oh yeah, my brother's a cokehead. It's cool. Like, she would use stories about him to justify her buying a 200-cent Coke. Like, people just don't blame... Like, people need to learn to look within when it comes to problems. But... I mean, I'm fine. I had a great time, and I have a billion stories to tell. None of them are really entertaining for this right now, but I just love the fact that the cokehead brother blamed me, who was drug-free until I met her, for her being a cokehead. Like, what kind of shit is that? And like, I didn't say anything to him because I just looked at him I just looked at him like, you're a fucking loser. I mean, that's what I said in my mind. I just looked at him. I was like, whatever, bro. You know, like, I just looked at him like, there was nothing about you that I want to be like. You're, 35-year-old who doesn't have a job, who's a regular at a bar, and you live in your mom's basement, literally. So, words from you mean nothing, pal. But it was just funny how, like, cokeheads blaming me. But that's... And I don't know what the point was to this story. I have no idea. But I just like sharing stories. Anyway, have a good one.